Hello and welcome back for another video on ARK Survival Ascended, and it's time to check out my top 20 best PVE base locations on the new Astraeos Lemnokis island. So in no particular order, let's get straight into it. Beginning with this duo of beautiful islands situated in the middle of this lake here. Located at 15.2 latitude, 88.5 longitude is our location on the map, right in the center of Lemnokis, a perfect spot to build as you're surrounded by everything that's great. And it's a great spot. Nice and flat on each side. You could build a bridge over to the other side. Water is pretty deep. Well, deep enough for probably breeding a Basilosaurus if you wanted to build some sort of water pen here. And there is also a cave. Where is it? Oh, loads of metal outside the front as well if you want that. And there's loads of metal, obsidian, everything up on the mountain right there. Anyway, back to the cave. In here, you could either choose to build here if you want to. It is a very well lit up cave. And there's Arthros in here and Olanio. So loads of chitin in there if you need that too. Up next we have this lovely spot, which is probably one of the prettiest locations in the northern region. Located at 6.9 latitude, 94.8 longitude, top right of the map. And of course, it's a beautiful location. You've got that wooden bridge bridging over to your island. That's if you want to build on the island. I'd probably say it's the best spot. Not flat, but you could definitely build a decent sized base up here, and it's just a beautiful area really. And by the way, this is also a great spot to build if you wanted to build on this ruin also, because it is relatively flat too. It is flat, what am I saying? So yeah, plenty of opportunities in this area. Moving down south to a much more beginner friendly area, I actually love this spot. Located around 34.1 latitude, 95.4 longitude. Here's our location on the map. A very beginner friendly area, and the area is completely flat, so it's beginner friendly for building too. And of course you could build a great water pen here as it's decent depth. Great location for that. Loads of metal on the side of the mountain right in front of you as well. Can't complain about that. Sticking with the trend with another great spot for beginners with this island. 35.7 latitude, 87.6 longitude. You do have like the elevated ground to build on here, which will probably be your main base. Basically, very similar properties to the previous base location, offering the same views, same resources nearby, and potential water pen qualities. Moving on to my personal favourite spot in the Redwoods biome, we have the infamous Cliff Shelf. 26.9 latitude, 88.3 longitude in the south part of Lemnokis. It's a lovely spot. I don't really like this humpy bit here, but I guess you could incorporate that into your build too. Not flat, but there is a nice amount of building room on here. And as you're right next to Redwoods, you do get the advantages of tree platforms right next to your base. You could probably incorporate that into it, to be honest, because it looks kind of flush with this rock here. And of course, you got a beautiful view right on your doorstep. The first of just a few caves on the list, and this one is situated in a very strategic location. 28.3 latitude, 78.2 longitude. Here's our location on the map. It's a cave, yes. I don't like caves normally on PVE, but this one's really nice because it's not really a cave, but it kind of is at the same time. Right at the edge of the water here, so you can build a nice water pen if you want to do that. And right above, you've got all these rare resources. You've got metal, crystal, and obsidian. It's a great spot to build. Lovely. If you're a fan of a plateau type base with a view, rare resources nearby and easy access to the ocean, this could be the spot for you. As you can see right next to the previous base location, it's at 27.3 latitude, 79.8 longitude. Here's a location on the map. Quite a flat area, plenty of room to build a medium to large size base. You got a nice bridge going over to the mainland. You got your rare resources there. You got obsidian, metal, lovely jubbly. It's in a great location. Of course, you're right in the center of the map. Well, kind of, in the south at least. And right below, it's deep enough for a very nice water pen. Taking the number 7 spot is this screamer of a location right here. There are plenty of building opportunities in this area. Alrighty, this spot is located around 27 latitude, 70.6 longitude. I love this spot. There's just too many building opportunities here for me to really pick one, so I just kind of included the whole area. Loads of non-flat surfaces and flat surfaces. I probably wouldn't build it myself because I like a good flat spot, but talented builder, however, could definitely make great use of this spot and pick one to their liking and make a very cool base. Obviously, beautiful depth of water right there for a water pen. Lovely location. Here we have another cliff shelf, plenty of building room up top, with a ramp that leads directly up to it from the low ground. 24.5 latitude, 72.6 longitude, southwest of Lemnokis. Looks lovely, loads of foliage dangling down, you gotta love that. But there's a lot of elevation here to play around with, loads of varied kind of quirky rocks. to incorporate into your build. And you got your water source right below, and of course you're right next to the mountain. You're going to have loads of rare resources right on your doorstep. You got an obsidian right there, and a bit of tasty metal, and that's not all of it, it's all up there too. Well, we can't have a top 20 PvE base location video without including the Maelstrom, can we? By far the most picturesque location on the entire map. I do hope we get to see more locations like this in future updates. I just love it. 39.2 latitude, 74.2 longitude, well away from the mainland of Lemnokis. So you're pretty isolated out here if you choose to build here. I don't even know you could build here on official. It might even be non-buildable. Wouldn't pull it past it, but as you can see, you could build down here if you want to, or on these cliffs if you could actually build here, of course. I wouldn't recommend building down here because this is like pretty much the only spawn for Carcanus on the map. There we go, we can see there's Carcanus down there. And you wouldn't really want to block those. Plus these little seaweed rocks give you a nice bit of cementing pace, so you can't complain about that. There is a cave in the waterfall here, I think. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, you could come in here, you could build it if you want to, but creatures do spawn in here. But of course that means that you have chitin on your doorstep because you got all your scorpions, Araneos, arthropluras, and you got dumbeals. So you can come in here and tame some of those. They're always important for that fertilizer. Everyone needs fertilizer in their life. Obviously you're miles away from anything on the map, but obviously there is the teleport function on the thing here, so you can teleport away, do whatever you want. Here we have one of the first of just a few pre-built structures. I tried not to include all of them, as they are probably one of the most obvious places to build a cool base. So we're looking for variety in this video. With that being said, this one is probably the best on the map. Alrighty, this spot is located at 16.8 latitude, 83.6 longitude. Right in the center of Lemnokis. I don't really like ruins, but this one is probably one of the pretty ones if you did want to choose to build in a ruin. And of course, it's flat up here, you can build up here. Oh, look at the cute little Calico. Oh. Anyway, loads of waterfalls below as well with pretty pink blossom trees. You could definitely build your base out here if you wanted to do that. But yeah, in the ruin itself, it's very cool. It's like a Greek temple of some sort, and you can build in here. On my server at least, it doesn't seem to be blocked. But yeah, there's a lot of room in here if you did want to build into something like this. I am getting a slight feeling of deja vu with this spot, bearing similarities to the first spot on the list. However, I do love this spot. It's in a really good location, and there's a lot of building opportunity with this one. Located at 14.3 latitude, 82.2 longitude, right in the center of Lemnokis, a great spot to be if you want to be close by to everything. I'm a big fan of, actually. I like these little quirky rock formations near the water, and this is a great spot for that. You could definitely build a bridge over to the other side, make a very cool base compound in here, and plus you could build around this water source here, which is actually quite deep. You could probably breed a Basilosaurus in here, maybe around that size. I don't think you get a Moser or Tuso in here. It'd be a bit too squishy in there for those. Other than that, it's a great spot, and it's probably my favorite on the new Lemnokis island. I may be picking a few too many islands here, but I really like this one. A great beginner-friendly area with a lot of building space. Located at 9.9 latitude, 66.7 longitude. Like, there's no hostile creatures on this island at all. So it's kind of like the herbivore island of Lemnokis, basically. You'll have plenty of basic resources and decent rarer resources too. These river rocks are just everywhere on this island, so you'll have access to easy metal, flint, and all that stuff like that you need. Of course, you can just get a raft made and sail over to here, and you'd be well away. But if you move inland towards the east, there is quite a few cool spots I wanted to show in case you didn't like to build there. You got this spot up here I can make for a cool spot because it's quite isolated and safe if you can get a flyer up there and start building. And then underneath here, underneath these Ragnarok looking rocks, you got a nice cave. This is quite a nice cave. It's well lit. Plenty of room in here. You can build quite a large base in here, actually, and it doesn't seem that creatures spawn in here, so you wouldn't have to worry about that either. So there's always that too if you like to build in a cave. Lovely. There's an array of building opportunities in this location with these layers of waterfalls. Located at 20.2 latitude, 35.8 longitude. Here's our location on the map, and it's a great location to build. Loads of building opportunities here, especially this flat ground down here. You can build a really big base if you like a good flat spot like that. Lovely lake that you could build a water pen on. There's all these waterfalls you can build around, loads of quirky rocks. I do like this area up here too with the little bridge, and it's very flat. You might have the danger of creatures dropping down into your base that aren't too friendly, but other than that, it's quite a good spot. Up next, we have this beautiful ruin, probably my favorite on the entire map. This spot is located at 19 latitude, 89.8 longitude. Here's a location on the map, once again, very central. This is probably the prettiest ruin I've seen on the map. You can build in here, of course. and it's just a really nice spot. Like, look at that. Window with a view too. Maybe not the biggest area to build, but obviously you can extend out here. You just can't beat that view. It is picturesque. Well, if there isn't a more perfect spot to build yourself a castle, then I don't know what is. This raised up island even has its own moat around the circumference. Located at 24.4 latitude, 86.2 longitude is our location on the map. This was quite a hidden gem, I must say, because it was covered in trees. And you got some really nice creatures around here that spawn. You got gachas and dinotheriums. You name it, it's all here. Lovely location, and of course, you're in the center of the canyon here, surrounded by mountains and rare resources everywhere. This is probably the best layer of cliff shelves and waterfalls on Lemnokis for me. 17.4 latitude, 87.6 longitude. Once again, direct center of Lemnokis. I really like this spot. It's a nice flat area. You got some beautiful scenery. You got a nice little bridge to incorporate into your base. You could definitely build on any of these levels, really. There's so many building opportunities in this area alone. You're going to have loads of rare resources on the mountain. You got your metal there. You got your crystal there. You got your obsidian there. It's all nearby. We then make our way to a former battlefield, which surprisingly could make for a great base location. Located at 7.2 latitude, 79.4 longitude, there's a location on the map. Not really my favorite location personally, but I'd love to see someone rebuild this ruin. I think this is why I've mainly added it to the list. But, oh no, automated server restart, we gotta be quick. Okay, right. Water here, so you're gonna have a nice sized water pen. Really good depth for that. That's the spot. You can see you've got this little island here. You could incorporate that into your build to make a nice little bridge of your own. There is also that island there. I quite like this island too. If you did want to build here, that's always an option. So I do recall seeing this location in the trailer, and I knew I had to include this beauty. Located at 3 latitude, 89.2 longitude, direct north of Lemnokis. And I really like this area. Throw a cheeky snow biome base spot in, because there's not many good spots in the snow. It's not the best snow biome I've seen. It was hard to find any spots. You can attach tree platforms to most of these trees. Not all of them, admittedly, but as you can see, it's really cool. You can definitely bridge over to these tree platforms, make a really cool base, build below if you wanted to. And to close out the video, I did go for a cave. Yes, I know it's a cave, but it's more for strategic purposes, if anything. You'll find this cave at 5.7 latitude, 92.1 longitude, top right to the map. And you're looking for this giant guy with a dress. As you can see, you've got the obelisk right on your doorstep, so you can just walk out your door and you're right there. So in the cave itself, it's really well lit. And it's just a really nice spot. You got your water source inside, bit of crystal. Of course, you're going to block that once you build in here. There's no creature that spawn in here at all. You might be able to breed something like a basilosaurus in here. I think it's a bit too shallow for that. And heading outside, of course, you got your little bit of metal right on your doorsteps. Loads of snow creatures spawn out here. You got Argentavis, Mammoths, Uteranus, Daedons, all that good stuff. So it's a great spot to build. And that is going to be the end of the video for today. I hope you all enjoyed it. And if it was enjoyable or you found it helpful in any way, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more. And if you fancy checking out my previous base location videos on Astraeos, it is visible on screen right now. I've got loads of videos planned for this month, so stay tuned, and I hope to catch you all in the next one. Take care. Goodbye.